Robert Dylan, also known as Bob Dylan, often regarded as one of the greatest songwriters of all time. Bob Dylan has been a major figure in popular culture during a career spanning more than 60 years. Much of his most celebrated work dates from 1960s, when songs such as Blowin' in the Wind, 1963, and The Times They Are a-Changin' in 1964, became anthems for the civil rights and anti-war movements. His lyrics during this period incorporated a range of political, social, philosophical, and literary influences, defying pop music conventions and appealing to a burgeoning counterculture. Bob Dylan has an estimated net worth of $500 million. Bob Dylan's early life. Bob Dylan, whose real name is Robert Allen Zimmerman, was born on May 24, 1941 in Duluth, Minnesota. His parents raised him in a close-knit Jewish community in Duluth for the first 6 years of his life, before moving to his mother's hometown, Hibbing, Minnesota. There, his father and parental uncles ran a store selling furniture and appliances. At Hibbing High School, he formed several bands. In 1959, he enrolled at the University of Minnesota and joined the fraternity Sigma Alpha Mu. It was while he was a college student that he began performing regularly at a coffee house near campus, the 10 O'Clock Scholar. He also involved himself in a Dinkytown folk music circuit. After dropping out of college, Dylan traveled to New York City in 1961 to perform. It was through the performances and connections he made during that time that he got the opportunity to play the harmonica on Carolyn Hester's third album. The album's producer, John Hammond, was impressed by Dylan and signed him to Columbia Records. Bob Dylan's personal life. In 1962, Dylan legally changed his name to Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan has been involved in several serious relationships. The first one was with Susie Rotello, an artist and a daughter of American Communist Party radicals. Then, he became involved with the folk singer Joan Baez. In 1965, Dylan married Sarah Lowndes. Together, they had 4 children. Unfortunately, they divorced in 1977. Besides that, Dylan also adopted Lowndes' daughter from a previous marriage. In 1986, Dylan married Carolyn Dennis, his backup singer. They had 1 daughter together before divorcing in 1992. Bob Dylan's professional career. In 1962, following his self-titled debut album, which comprised mainly traditional folk songs, Dylan made his breakthrough as a songwriter with the release of The Freewheelin' Bob Dylan. The album featured Blowin' in the Wind and the thematically complex A Hard Rain's a Gonna Fall. Many of Dylan's songs adapted the tunes and phraseology of older folk songs. He went on to release the politically charged The Times They Are a-Changin' and the more lyrically abstract and introspective Another Side of Dylan in 1964. In 1965 and 1966, Dylan drew controversy when he adopted electrically amplified rock instrumentation and in a space of 15 months recorded 3 of the most important and influential rock albums of the 1960s. That included Bringing It All Back Home, Highway 61 Revisited, and Blonde on Blonde. His 6-minute single, Like a Rolling Stone in 1965, expanded his commercial and creative boundaries in popular music. In July 1966, a motorcycle accident led to Dylan's withdrawal from touring. During this period, he recorded a large body of songs with members of the band who had previously backed him on tour. These recordings were released as a collaborative album, The Basement Tapes, in 1975. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, Dylan explored country music and rural themes in John Wesley Harding, Nashville Skyline, and New Morning. In 1975, he released Blood and Tracks, which many saw as a return to form. In the late 1970s, he became a born-again Christian and released a series of albums of contemporary gospel music before returning to his more familiar rock-based idiom on the early 1980s. In 1997's album Time Out of Mind marked the beginning of a renaissance for his career. He has released 5 critically acclaimed albums of original material since then, the most recent being Rough and Rowdy Ways in 2020. Dylan has also recorded a series of 3 albums in the 2010s, comprising versions of traditional American standards, especially songs recorded by Frank Sinatra. Besides that, Dylan has published 8 books of drawings and paintings since 1994, and his work has been exhibited in major art galleries. He has sold more than 125 million records, making him one of the best-selling musicians of all time. Bob Dylan has received numerous awards, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom, 10 Grammy Awards, a Golden Globe Award, and an Academy Award. Dylan has also been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame, and the Songwriters Hall of Fame. The Pulitzer Prize Board in 2008 awarded him a special citation for his profound impact on popular music and American culture, marked by lyrical compositions of extraordinary poetic power. In 2016, Dylan was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature for having created new poetic expressions within the great American song tradition. Apart from that, Dylan has toured continuously since the late 1980s in what has become known as the Never-Ending Tour. Other works and projects. Bob Dylan is a prolific visual artist. His first public art exhibition, the Drawn Blank series, was opened in 2007 at the Kunstmann Luggen in Chemnitz, Germany. And with that, thanks for watching.